Hey guys, it's Cara, welcome back to the Rampetina channel. Today we are doing the second part of the jumper, so now we're going to start joining all of our squares and triangles to form a jumper. So let's just jump right into it. So I'm going to take the first square, so one of the squares that's going to be right on the sleeve here, so choose whichever square needs to go on one of the sleeves, and we are going to make one more round for the first square, and then with our second square and onwards we are going to start joining it to the previous one. So let's pop that one over there and join with the first one. So I'm going to grab my joining colour, and I've got my 6mm crochet hook, and I'm going to make a slip knot. And I'm going to join in any of these gaps, so in between these clusters I'm just going to join anywhere, and I'm going to do the same thing I did last time with the squares, where we make one beginning double crochet, a double crochet, and then we finish the cluster at the very end. So I'm just going to randomly go here and grab my yarn if I can, and I'm going to make a beginning double crochet, so a standing single crochet, chain one, and I'm going to make one more double crochet into that space. So now I'm going to go into the next space, so in between these half double crochets and the double crochets, with 3 double crochets. So yeah, we're just making a regular granny square round all the way around this granny square to make it a total of 5 rounds. And I'm using the same colour as the centre, so I've chosen 4 colours for my jumper and alternating them to get the design I want. So yeah, just going to make 3 more double crochets in the next space. And now we're in the corner, so I'm going to make 3 doubles, chain 2 for the corner, and put 3 more double crochets. So the previous round we had all different heights of crochet stitches, but now we're just doing double crochets. So that was a treble crochet corner, and we're just putting regular double crochets now. So into the next space with 3 double crochets, so yeah, super easy, just placing 3 double crochets in between each previous cluster. Chain 2 for the corner, and 3 more double crochets. And again, I will have all of the extra information in the description, so the written pattern, any information about the yarn, the measurements, Okay, so I'm on my last full cluster here. And then I'm just going to place one double crochet into the first one and slip stitch at the top of the beginning double crochet to join. Chain 1 to fasten off. So there's our first complete square, and this will go like this. And now we are ready to join the next square here. So I need to grab this colour yarn, and we are going to do the granny square join as you go method. So I'm going to have this one here because we're going to join it on this side where we have our end. So I'm going to join it here. So I'm going to leave that there, ready to pick up in a bit. So I've made a slip knot on my hook, and again just go into any random space with a beginning double crochet and then one double crochet, and then I'm going to go into the next space with 3 double crochets, and now we're in the corner, so I'm going to make 3 double crochets, and then let's see, yeah, let's join in the very first corner so that that is out of the way and we know that it's joined together. So for this very first corner I am going to chain 1, then I'm going to grab this corner and do a slip stitch, then you want to chain 1 again and go back and put your 3 double crochets back into this corner space. Now I'm going to slip stitch into this space, so after that 3 double crochet cluster you're going to slip stitch into the opposite square, then I'm going to make 3 double crochets, slip stitch into here, 3 double crochets, slip stitch into the other square, 3 more double crochets, slip stitch, 3 double crochets, slip stitch, and now we're in the corner, so I'm going to make 3 double crochets, then we're going to chain 1, slip stitch into the corner, the chain 2 of the other corner, chain 1 and put 3 more double crochets to finish that corner. So we have joined our 2 squares on just one side, and we're going to work on the first panel, so the front or the back panel first, and then we'll complete that whole thing, then we'll turn it around. I'll show you each step and where to join. Yeah, then you'll want to flip it and then we'll start joining to make it a sleeve. So yeah, now you just want to continue crocheting a normal granny square around this square, and then we'll join our third square. So I'm going to continue just making 3 double crochet clusters all the way around. If you guys are following me, you know that this is the only way I join granny squares now. It's my favourite way to do it because it's just so quick and easy. There's like less ends to weave in, and you can build your design as you go. You don't have to, you know, worry about getting all the squares done, even though I have done that here. But all of the rounds completely done and then stitching it all together. I'm really bad at sewing, so I prefer this method so much more. And yeah, I just find it a lot neater than any other method for me. That's personal preference. So yeah, that's what we're going to do in this project. When I made this jumper the first time round, I sewed all of the squares and triangles together, and I had a hard time doing that, so I wanted to remake this jumper with the join as you go method because yeah, I just prefer it so much more. Okay, so I have done my 1 double crochet to finish that last cluster there, and I'm going to slip stitch, join, and then chain 1 to fasten off. There we go, so our second square is joined. It can kind of look a bit wonky in the corners, but because we're turning this into a jumper and those won't be seen because these will be also joined to the other side, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, sometimes you have to kind of like stretch these out, but it's looking good so far. So now we're going to move along and we're going to put our third square here. We're going to do the exact same thing. We are joining on one side. So again, I'm just going to go into any random spot. I keep going in here for some reason. I keep going in between these half double crochets and these double crochets. I don't know, it just feels right to me, but obviously you can join wherever in the square. I just definitely recommend. Oh no, to be fair, you could start in the corner as well. But I just like joining here. So yeah, I'm just gonna continue joining. So we're just gonna do this first side. We'll just do some 3 double crochet clusters, and then we get to the corner, we'll join. Oh, I guess the only problem with join as you go is that if you needed to go back and move things around, you'd have to frog a lot of it, or basically all of it, if you made a mistake at the beginning. So yeah, I guess that's the only flaw in this method. But yeah, if you plan it out ahead, then you should be fine. So the first three you want to join all in a row like that. So this becomes our sleeve. Okay, so looking at our pattern, we are going to ignore the triangles for now and add those later. We want to join all the squares first of the front panel, and then we'll go in and join the triangles. So we've got the first three, like I said, for the sleeve, and then we're going to move down to this square. So this one here, we're going to join it to this side. So I've already started it here. I'm going to join in the corner, same as before, but this time when we get to this corner, I'm going to join slip stitch through here, so in between the two squares. So I'll show you that. Okay, so we're in the second corner now, and we're going to join, make our 3 double crochets, then we're going to chain 1, slip stitch in between these two squares, so right in there, slip stitch, chain 1, and continue finishing this square. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and finish this square because you don't need to see me do the same thing over and over again. And I'll be back with the next square and where and how to join. So yeah, just continue working all the way around, finish up this square so that we have 4 joined like this. Okay, the 4th square is all finished and joined, and now let's move on to the 5th square, which is this middle one here, right at the top. And again, I've started it off just so that this can be a bit quicker and not such a long video. So I'm going to flip my work like that because I'm going to join it on this side. So let me do my 3 doubles for the corner, and then I'm going to chain 1, slip stitch in between these 2 squares. So every time you come across a corner that you're trying to join, and there's two squares there already, you want to go in between, and when you're joining to a corner that doesn't have any other granny squares attached, you just want to go into that opposite corner. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, I've chained one, and I'm going to slip stitch in between these two, and then I'm going to chain one. Now I'm going to put 3 more double crochets, and again the same thing, just slip stitch on the other side to join all along this side. So yeah, you'll want to pause if you're crocheting along. Okay, so I have the 5th square all finished and joined, and yeah, so this is the middle granny square, and again we're ignoring the triangles for now, but they will eventually join here, and we'll have another one here. So now we're kind of working in like a zigzag pattern, so we've gone and done one sleeve, down, up, and we're going to join here next, so we're going back down. So yeah, it's like a zigzag. And yeah, same thing again, we're just joining to this side, so into this corner, all along here, and then in between those. So I probably don't need to show you that again because you know how to do it now. So yeah, just pause your video here, finish up joining this 6th square, and we'll meet up again to join the 7th one, which will be up here. So carrying on that zigzag pattern, and that's the next shoulder of the next sleeve. Okay, so joining the 6th square now. Yeah, so same thing again, we're going to join here first. So in this corner we will join in between these squares, and then we'll join all along here and into this corner. So same thing again, you can pause the video and we'll meet again for the next square. So I'm gonna join here. Okay, so I finished joining this square, so in between these two squares, all along and into that corner. So now, yes, we've got this like zigzag thing going on to the sleeve, zigzag, and now we're gonna finish off the other sleeve by joining 2 squares here. So yeah, I'm just gonna skip past this bit. Let me just grab the squares first. So I'm going to join these 2 squares to this part to finish off this other sleeve, and then I'll be back to show you. So I'll have this sleeve finished, and then next we're going to work on this bottom part of the jumper. Okay, I will see you in a bit. Okay, this is not fitting on my desk anymore because it's getting that big, but basically I have finished joining the other sleeve. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of our granny squares joined in this pattern. I think we should join this square here, which will fold and be part of the back panel as well. So we're going to join here, and then the same on the other side here, another square here. So let's join 3. I'm going to join this square here, but obviously this is our armpit area, so I'm only going to join it on this side, and that's it, and then just leave it to sit there, and then when we flip it over we will fold it and join it on all of the other sides. So yeah. Okay, so I'm in that corner now, so I'm just gonna do my 3 double crochets. Then I'm going to chain 1, and yeah, we're gonna slip stitch into this corner of this square. So the diagonal square, slip stitch into there. Then chain 1 and finish off this square, and don't join anymore. We just wanted to join on this side. You don't want to join it to this square because this one will fold like that. Yeah, it's starting to look like a jumper now, which is exciting. So yeah, I'll finish that up and then we will join this square. Okay, we're working on this middle one now and we need to join on 2 sides. So I've started this square already, and then chain 1, slip stitch into this corner first. And then the same thing again for the corner. To join, we're going to chain 1 and then I'm going to slip stitch into this top granny square here. So slip stitch into that corner, chain 1. We're going to continue joining on this side as well now. So yeah, in this corner again, I have slip stitched in between these 2 granny squares to join in that corner. So yeah, I'm going to finish off this square, pause the video, and we'll finish off this square. And we'll be back with the next square to join. Let's join this square now. So this is another one that folds here, similar to the other side, like that. So I am just going to join this side. Again, we're in this armpit area and we're not going to join to this side, so ignore that, that's the sleeve. We're just going to join here on that side. So I'm going to do my corner, chain 1, and we're going to slip stitch into that armpit. That's those 3 squares joined. So I'm going to join one of these triangles down here. I'm going to grab my yarn and make a slip knot. And we're going to go in between the beginning treble crochet and the next treble crochet. So in between here, so in this space, I'm going to make a beginning double crochet. So then I'm going to go into this corner here with a slip stitch. So straight after that beginning double crochet, make a slip stitch to join to that bottom corner. Then I'm going to make 3 more double crochets in that same space. So it will look like 4 double crochets. Then we're going to slip stitch to join to this square, and then continue doing the same thing as before, just making 3 double crochets in between these clusters to finish off this triangle and join it to the jumper. Slip stitch into the diagonal square, so this one, so into that space there. And we're going to continue joining this triangle to this square here, the one that's folded. Okay, so then you want to make 3 double crochets in between the very last treble crochet we made, and so that you've got 2 here. So 3. And we are going to mimic the other side by slip stitching into this corner, this one here, and then just place 1 more double crochet and then we're going to chain 1 to fasten off. And there we go, there's our triangle attached. So I'm gonna repeat that here and also the 2 at the top. I forgot to mention, when you're joining these triangles to these middle squares, you want to join both sides to the corner. We want that middle space to crochet over later. So yeah, I've got it on the same. On the other side, this is the bottom of the jumper, and you can see there. Okay, so I have finished attaching all of the squares and triangles on the front panel. You can, if I fold these out like this, it will look like this with the sleeves. So you'll have it all attached like that, and then obviously fold these so that you can have a better look. Okay, so I've started this square and I'm in the corner now, so I'm going to chain 1, and then with our front panel with the wrong side facing up, we're going to work like this. So we're going to just fold it over like that, and you want to slip stitch in between these 2 squares here. So go in between those and slip stitch, then chain 1 and continue this square. So yeah, we're working on it like this, the wrong sides facing each other, and then when you're joining, you just want to bring that square underneath just up like that so that you can slip stitch into the other side. So continue slip stitching down this side, and then we will join in the corner as usual. For this side, we're not going to join to the other side. And then into the next corner we're going to join, so make your 3 double crochets, chain 1, and then again we're going to be bringing up this side, fold it over a bit like that so that we can slip stitch into these spaces. So yeah, we've just got our chain 1 on there, so then I'm going to slip stitch into this corner. Okay, we are in the last corner space now, so I'm going to make 3 double crochets, and then to join, chain 1, move it around a little bit, and slip stitch in between these 2 squares here. So these 2 from the front panel, we're going to slip stitch in between the squares, chain 1 and then finish off this square. And there we have one square of our back panel attached to the front. We can see this is the end of the sleeve and it's nice and joined like that. So yeah, now we're going to move on to the next square, which will go here, and it will be the same thing again, but this time we are joining along here. We'll join it to this square on this side here, and then join it to, whoa, bright, hello, and then we'll join it on this bottom side as well. So we'll be joining on all three sides, leave one side open, and that's where I like to start the square round. You can see I did it here. Okay, so now we're in this corner. I'm going to chain 1, and then now we've got 3 squares. Oh, I'm trying to get my hand in there. 3 squares attached like this. So like before, we're going to slip stitch into the opposite granny square, so this one. Diagonally opposite, we're going to slip stitch. And then I'm going to continue joining to this square. Okay, I'm in the next corner now and I need to join, so I'm going to chain 1 and then same thing again where we've got 3 granny squares like this. We're going to go in the diagonally opposite granny square. And then continue joining to this side. Okay, so now we're going to join into the armpit area where 1, 2, 3, 4 granny squares are currently joined, and we want to join a 5th one. So yeah, so that's our folded one over there. So what I'm going to do is I've got my chain 1 already done, and what we're going to do is just bring up, like fold over like we've been doing with the front panel for the sleeve part. So I'm going to just like fold it over so I can see all of these joins. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 squares joined. I think I'm going to go in between these 2 squares here, so you can kind of see that we've got this one joined over in that square, so I think it makes sense to go in between these 2. So now we've got 2 squares attached for the back panel to the sleeve. So I'm going to attach this 3rd square for our back panel. I think we're going to slip stitch in between the square and the triangle. So if we fold it over like this, we're going to slip stitch in between. And continue joining this side and the next side like the previous granny square. Okay, we are in that corner space where we're gonna have to join to the armpit area. Fold it over like that. I think it's gonna have to go in between these squares that we you can see the slip stitch there goes over these 2 squares. Let's try that. Really tight and have it kind of next to it there. Complete the rest of this square like normal. So like before when we did the front panel, we are going to ignore the triangles and join those at the very end. So now we're going to do that diagonal pattern again where we're going to go down, up, down, up. And for this one we're going to join here into that armpit space. Again, we'll figure out where to slip stitch. And then we're going to attach it to this square, which is the folded over one. So joining on 2 sides again. Okay, we're in that corner now. So yeah, I think we should put it in that one. So in this square, same square but on the other side, so on the front panel. I'm going to slip stitch in to there. Right, so then I'm going to continue joining it to this square here. I just spotted, if you'd like to make this into a cardigan, you would, I said that really weird, instead of having full granny square here and here, you would have 2 triangles here and 2 triangles here on just one of the panels, and then you'll have a cardigan. Yeah, so for this middle granny square we are only joining to one side, but you will join in between these 2 granny squares in the corner, all along here and in the corner. So I'm gonna go off camera and finish that one. Now we're gonna join this one to these 2 sides here. Okay, so I'm in that corner space now and we're gonna slip stitch to join into this armpit area. So I'm gonna chain 1, and then what I'm gonna do is flip it over like this and slip stitch into this granny square here. So the one that's directly underneath it, we're gonna slip stitch into that to mimic the other side. And finish off this square. So yeah, so we've just attached this square to this side and on this folded square and into that corner. So now we're gonna go and attach this square. So for this one we are going to join here into this corner, so in between these 2 squares. All the way down here, we're going to slip stitch it into this armpit again. Then we're going to just do a normal side, no joining this side, and then we're going to join it along here onto this square here. Okay, so I'm in that corner now, and we're gonna slip stitch in between this square and this square, but on the other side, so on the other panel. So fold it over like this again, and you can see it there. We're gonna go in between these two squares. So now I'm just going to finish up this side normal and then join this side. Remember to slip stitch in between the square and the triangle when you come up to this bit. Okay, so I finished joining and finishing off this square, and now we are going to finish off this other sleeve. So we'll start joining on this side first, then onto this granny square, into that armpit area, and then along here. We're doing the armpit again, and I think this must be the last one. Yes, it is. Hooray! We put it in the same spot. We put it in the same spot as the last one, so in between. Yeah, in between these two. Okay, so I'm gonna finish off joining and finishing this square. Yay, we're joining the second to last square now, because we still have this middle one to do here afterwards, but this is the last one where we've got to join it to the other side of the jumper. So yep, here the exact same. We're just gonna join all three sides. So starting here, we're going to join all the way along on this side and this side. So you don't need to see me do that again. Well, the rest of it is just joining this square here, and that's the exact same thing as the other side. You just need to to join it to here and here, and then all that's left of the joining portion of this jumper is just joining the triangles. So I'm just joining my triangles at the top of the jumper, and I realized that where you need to join the triangle is slightly different in these shoulder parts, because we've got 3 granny squares joined. So what I'm going to do is slip stitch into the opposite diagonal granny square. So it's like that, and I'm going to pick up this bit and slip stitch into here so that it's nice and secure. And then the same thing on the other side, we will slip stitch into this corner here. Okay, so we have all of the squares and triangles attached now. Yay, we did it! So yeah, that's all for part 2 of this jumper tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this tutorial was helpful and you were able to follow along. But yeah, please stay tuned for part 3, where we finally finish this jumper completely. We'll add a trim, we'll add the sleeve cuffs, and we also need to yeah, this part is very wide, so we need to actually close this up a little bit so it's just a small hole for your neck. So yeah, thank you so much again for watching this tutorial, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Happy crocheting, see you later.